Well, happy holidays to you. I know you're probably wondering what happened. Some of you don't really care what happened to me, but I'm just glad to be back to kind of talk to you a little bit. And we're talking, I pray that my tone will stay at a level where it don't appear that I'm shouting, especially for a topic that the Lord has given me to share briefly with you about. Okay, I think it's about, what time is it now? It's about 1 in the morning. I'm still up because I've been killing some devils really, really late, and so all day long, so I'm up. So I'm not sleepy, and I guess this is why he gave me this message in my mini cathedral that I call the shower. And so I just wanted to kind of share with you and hope that God is blessing you for your happy holidays that are coming ahead. And, and just want to make sure that we all know in this message that he's giving me that you got to recognize the fact that I'm going to be talking about a very sensitive subject, and since it is Think Again Thursday, okay? Think again. And if you're listening to me under the sound of my voice, I'm going to try to talk to you like a session because I am a therapist. I'm going to be talking like a session in these few minutes that I hope I can get all this out. But you need to think again, and this think again session for today is, he said, before you respond. You listen to what I'm saying to you. Before you respond. And what he's talking about is before you respond to what he said to me, I started laughing. He said, you tell them before they respond to the baitors, the traitors, the haters, and the fakers. I bust out laughing when he said baitors. I'm like, what is that? Okay, let me look that up. And so I'll get into it in just a few minutes, but I just want to remind you, all of us got something. But tonight, that is this morning, I want to kind of weigh in on Facebook baitors, traitors, haters, and fakers. And I really want to be the police tonight. Somebody need to kind of weigh in on these conversations that are coming across on Facebook. And, and some of these baitors and these traitors and these haters and these fakers need to be thought about. And so I think he wants you to think again before you respond to these groups here, these baitors, the traitors, the haters, the fakers. He wants you to weigh in on it and think about it before you respond to it. And see, the reason why is because many of us, if you think about where we are, and as we begin to put a conversation out there, or we make a statement, it could be something that maybe just wanted to give you a little, how they say, your little 2 cents on, but for some reason you're going to have one of these groups that's going to have something to say to you. And usually it's probably going to be a hater. But what I'm saying is maybe because yours sounds better than theirs, or maybe your video was better, or whatever, because I only got a few minutes on here. Let me see, make sure I set my little timer here. Yeah, it's working. But what I'm saying is that we got to understand we've given our conversation in the wrong connotation too much power. You're giving your power away, which means that you taking an attitude with what you're reading or an attitude with what you're posting, and you're being baited in by these particular conversations, or you being baited in, or you getting traded. You feel like you've been traded or betrayed. Let's just go on and define these real quick so we can know where I'm coming from on these here. The first one is, like I said, baiter. A baiter is a person who intentionally posts something to be offensive. They enjoy just looking at people and saying things and anything to make it look like you look stupid, or it's not good what you said, or their goal is to bait you and to be able to draw you in for the conversation and then slam dunk you to make it look like you silly or whatever you're doing don't make no sense. And then the traitor. Now the traitor is the person who betrays another. It's simply they just betray them, and whether it's a relationship, or betray them because your sister girlfriend don't like you or don't like where you're going in your life, or they betray you and either maybe sleep with your man or your husband. But what I'm saying to you, or your wife, but what I'm saying to you is that the traitor syndrome is really, really rampant today because a lot of people are out there making conversations or making announcements that they're getting a divorce or they left their husband, that they got problems in their marriage, and the other Delilah is on the other side just waiting. Oh, I know I'm talking to somebody. And, of course, the hater. We already know what a hater is. It's a person that simply cannot be happy because everybody else is happy. You know, they're mad because the other person's successful. They're mad because the other person's being blessed and highly favored. And so they'd rather see you get some sourdough or something in your life to expose you about something, a skeleton or something you told about, shared about your life to them that you thought you can confide in them. And so these haters now, they want to expose your skeleton. They want to expose your flaws. They want to expose the challenges that you're having. I know I'm talking to somebody. Lord have mercy, I'm trying to slow it down. I said I was going to try to be a counselor on here today. Okay. And so the hater. And now the faker. Now this is the one get on my nerve. I hate fakers. I'm going to keep it real. The fakers, I don't like fake people. Maybe that's why they call me Dr. Keeping It Real, because I am going to do exactly that. And I have a whole lot of people who say I'm overconfident and or I'm too cocky or too bold. And you know why? Because I'm not a fake. See, fake, if you think about what a fake is, especially as it relates to an individual's life or character, it melts real quick under fire. See, because if you keep faking, eventually the very thing you keep faking about is going to melt right on down like the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz. It's going to melt right on down, and the real you going to be exposed. You know, you have to be authentic in yourself. And I feel comfortable in me. I feel confident in the big daddy in me, God. And it ain't about Sandy. It's about who I am packing, who I am in him. And what the problem is, because we give our power away to these baitors, these traitors, and these haters, and these fakers, we sit up on the internet and we talk to these folks, sharing all of our information, all of our intimate time with them, and what they're trying to do is to bait, to trait, to hate, and to eventually fake about who they really are, or fake about where they really been, or fake about what they really got. And why? Because they are haters. Now, I wanna back up because I really got to get you to see where I'm coming at with this before I go any further. One of the things you got to know is that one of the things the enemy wants to do, that's why today you got to remember, do not respond. Whatever you see on that internet, whatever you see, I don't care what social network it is, whether it's Twitter, I don't care if it's Facebook, I don't care whatever network, there's a whole bunch of them I don't use for nothing but announcements anyway. And so, wait a minute, got something here. And so what I'm saying here is you want to look at it and make your words count. Because every time you open your mouth, you're opening a door, the gateway. Your mouth is a gateway to build or to pull down. And so you want to look at that every time you encounter a conversation. Do you know your conversation is in your fingers, is in your texting? You know, so every time you have a conversation, you got to practice taking a minute and thinking before you respond. I just saw on the news tonight they're talking about now there's some connotation to every time you send a text, if you put a period behind it, it means something. I guess it means that's period. You get on my nerve, period, or you made me mad, period. Come on now. You know, it's always something because it's about the conversation. Trying to slow it down. But we got to know that you do not want to respond to every conversation, especially on Facebook. You know, when I get on there and I kind of scroll down and I go, and I'll be policing sometimes, just checking out some of the stuff, you know, looking at some of the conversations, and I'm like, you know, why? Why, Lord? Why do they want to put on here that the husband done did this? And why, Lord? Why they want to say this about this and that? You know, why, Lord? You know, and it is because people, you know, and Facebook is good because, you know, it saves a many lives of people who want to kill themselves. You know, it has become a church for those who will not go to church. You know, it has become, you know, a resolve or a family connection to some of those who don't have nobody to talk to or feel better they can, you know, have a conversation in a little clique or group. You know, I don't have a problem with that. But what I do have a problem with, you know, and I believe my daddy God does too, because it is moving me in this fashion to be able to talk to you tonight, because he's given me to talk about these baitors, these traitors, these haters, and these fakers. It's my daddy. You need to take it up with him. See, because he said before you respond to these groups, you need to make sure you look at and qualify your conversation. Because some of the people you're talking to, some of the relationships that you emailing back to and all that kind of stuff, you need to think before you respond. Why? Because some of the answers, some of the things that you're saying, grumbling and complaining and making comments behind people you don't even know. You don't even know their life. You don't even know why they're saying these things, and you want to make negative conversation, or you want to be their God on there, or you want to start counseling them in a fashion that you have no business trying to counsel them with. You know, I really think, you know, this is why a lot of people are blowing their brains out or going away, because somebody said something on there that they try to counsel them about. Oh, I know I'm talking to somebody. And so it's always necessary, and I thank God that he's given me this solitude in my life in a time that I'm in right now, that I can boldly talk about the response, boldly talk about the difference between wanting something and accepting something and needing something. There's a great difference. Because, you see, if you need something, then God is going to take care of your needs. But if you want something, you got to make sure you have those things prioritized, to make sure that those wants don't supersede the need, because God will give us the desires of our heart. But you've got to be very, very sensitive to the thing that you say, very, very sensitive to the thing that you respond to when God is trying to get you to be quiet, when God is trying to get you to see through these words that are being typed, through these conversations that you're holding back and forth in the wee hours of the night when you should be somewhere asleep or getting prepared for church or reading your Bible, pastor, when you up chatting 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning with somebody that you say is a friend while your wife or your husband is asleep. Oh, I know I'm talking to somebody. You can be mad if you want to. You can take it up with Jesus, because he's the one that's going to make sure you know that you don't want to respond. You want to take this in consideration, these facts, these points that I'm telling you, because these influencers are there to open gateways of hell that's going to destroy your marriage, your ministry, and your family, and will cause sickness and disease in your body. Why? Because you don't want to hear the fear of the Lord is speaking to you for you to use wise counsel as it relates to responding. You know, because, you know, we got to get some education, if you want to use it that way, because I'm going to talk like that. Slang look like a hip today, especially on Facebook. But what I'm trying to say to you, because my time is wrapping, it's very important that we don't speak what we regret. We got to use wisdom. We got to make sure that the words that we speak will bring health and healing. We got to make sure that our conversation will not be so dramatic and so, typed out and written in a fashion that people are offended from the first time they start to look at the first couple of words. And so the Bible tells us in Proverbs 15:28, good men study their words before they speak them. Why? Because the heart of the righteous studieth to answer. So you got to make sure that you speak to God first before you respond. And this is what this message is today. Before you respond. Before you respond to any of these categories, you've got to know that God wants you to meditate on where are you while you're talking. Are you a baiter? Are you a traitor? Are you a hater? Or are you simply a faker? See, because many times the very thing that you think that you're saying to someone to try to get back at them or top that, so that's all I see most of the time on there. Top this video, top this conversation, top this comment, you know. So I know you're listening to me, and a whole bunch of you listening to me trying to say, what's she talking about now? You know, see, but what I'm trying to show you, I ain't talking about anything. God is talking to you. Do not respond. You hear me? You hear me good. Do not respond to everything you see on there. Why? Why? Because the right words will help you feed and sustain those around you if they're the right words. Proverbs 10:21 tells us that the lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. Oh, Lord, help us today. And see, I'm up tonight because I care about you. I care about you enough, even though I know you probably listen to this just trying to see what I'm trying to say. But you got to know that the fakers are lying. The fakers have words that will poison the very system and the soul of people who just want to have a friendly conversation on the internet. But you got to know you got to use words in your conversation that will give you a practicing time, that before you respond, you will wait a moment, pray, you'll be quiet, and you will listen, not to what your heartbeat say. Why? Because the abundance of the heart is going to speak, especially if you got hell and hate and bitterness in it. So you want to be quiet and you want to wait and watch, and not just watch, but make sure you fast and pray. Because I'm telling you, we're on a spiritual war. So you got to listen not only with your ears when someone is saying something to you, but you got to listen with your eyes. You got to see in the spirit what the Lord is wanting you to see out of the conversation, whether it's being written or spoken. And so again, I'm going to say this one more time. Good men study their words before they speak them, and the heart of the righteous studieth to answer, so that you can come out with sound words, fruitful words, words that will build up, not destroy, words that will bring people life and not spiritual death, every word you speak. You got to listen for cunningness in conversations. You got to listen to see what the faker is trying to do. You got to look and qualify your conversation to see whether or not if these people that are in your midst even supposed to hear the conversation that you're saying. That's why I understand why people writing everything on there and want everybody to see it. Somebody's going to see it, and you're mad about who gave it to her, who shared it with her. So you got to make sure that you speak clearly, type it clearly. But before you respond, think, listen to see, and be selective with your words. Lord, I'm already coming down to my time. Whew, I thought I was going to be real calm. But anyway, I just want to say this for the traitor, like a Delilah or one of the other ones, David, that want to go out and act good in one fashion and then want to sleep with everybody. Come on now, let's just try to make sure that we watch our conversation before you respond. Before you respond to everything that sounds good or every photo that looks good. You don't have to respond to every picture and every word that someone is saying. Oh, there goes the bell. Gotta hang it up. You know why? Because probably by now you probably sleep anyhow. Ain't listening because you probably say, I'm tired. She done went on and on all about the same thing. But I'm going to say this here before I close. I want to make sure I leave this message with you. I love this message that came by, what was his name? Yeah, Dr. Phil. I love the way he made this comment. He said, you need to prioritize the things that are truly consistent with your values over the things that are just preferences, because many times we have preferences versus our values, and then we don't know what our wants are versus our needs, and then we start to agree with anything, and then we start to try to be haters and fakers and baitors to try to get people to tune into what we're saying, when actually we don't even know what we're trying to say. We don't even know why we said it. And then we try to avoid the people who are responding to what we said. And then there you go. You start talking and communicating with people because you didn't qualify the conversation. And so now you're stuck with all these baitors, these traitors, these haters, and these fakers. So guess what? You better think again before you respond. And until you acknowledge that you are not a passenger in your own life and take responsibility for what's going on around you and whatever is happening in your life, that sometimes we wind up putting our own self in and that we have to be accountable about, you got to take responsibility for that. Why? Because if you don't take this responsibility for what's going on in your own life, you're going to be looking for excuses instead of solutions. Well, gotta go. God bless you, and I pray that you remember on the Sick Again Thursday. Please pass this on. My God, it's getting bigger, my daddy said. Baitors, haters, fakers, and traitors. My God, it is live on the network. Happy holidays. Pass it on and help a sister and a brother out.